Hello friends, welcome to Affairs Cloud Learn to Lead. This is Ashu and today we will discuss very important current affairs of 19th of May 2021. You can see two best images of the day, but today we will discuss very important and the most important current affairs, so watch this video till last. I am requesting you all the students that you have to like this video, you have to share this video as maximum as possible, and you have to subscribe this channel if you are new on this platform. And guys, before proceeding, I just want to discuss about our application. Application name is Careers Cloud. So guys, you can download this application from the description box link, and after downloading you have to log in with your email ID, and after login you have to click on this crack current affair section. You can subscribe for 1 year as well as for 2 years, and both the subscription prices are very much low. And guys, I am assuring you that 90 to 95% current affair which are coming in your exam are covered by Affairs Cloud. This is the genuinity of Affairs Cloud. This is the hard work of Affairs Cloud team. And what we are providing under this subscription, we are providing daily current affair. In the daily current affair section, we are providing three type of the sections. One is related to detailed current affair of particular day. Second is the question and answer format of current affair of particular day. And third is the quiz section which you can attempt on our application on the daily basis. Next is weekly section. In the weekly section, again, we are providing three sections particular week. Like first is the detailed current affair of particular week. Second is the question and answer format of current affairs of that week, and also the quiz section which you can attempt on our application on weekly basis. Next, to enhance your performance, we are also providing four type of the PDFs in the monthly section. One is the study PDF. If you want to read all detailed and theoretical current affair, then you have to pick this study PDF. And to revise this theoretical current affair, you have to revise from the question and answer format of the PDF which we are providing. And we are also providing top 100. It means the best 100 current affairs which will be provided in the form of question and answer, so that you can revise again and again. We are also providing pocket PDF. As the name suggests, it is very important to revise the current affair in 2-liner, 3-liner before your exam in quick format. So guys, this is daily, weekly and monthly section, but we are also providing some smart PDFs to enhance your performance in your exam. Like first, we are providing the topic wise PDF. We are covering top 20 most important topics like apps and web portals, important days, books and authors, national current affair, international current affair. These all things are covered under these 20 type of the PDFs. And if you're one topic or two topics a week, then you can revise before your exam. Next is for the banking aspirants. Like we are providing three type of the things under the banking section. One is related to detailed current affair of banking and economy, question and answer format of banking and economy section, and also one is the quiz section which you can attempt on our application and check that how many current affairs you can retain only related to banking and economy. Next is exam PDF. This is very important. If you want to revise all the past current affairs of particular year from just single PDF, then this PDF is for you. It means suppose your exam is tomorrow, or you want to just revise all the 4 months current affair of 2021, then you can just pick this exam PDF and you can revise all the 4 months current affair from single PDF. Next is special current affair. Special stands for the budget and economic survey. We are providing expected question and answer which examiner can ask from budget and economic survey, and also we are providing detailed and factual data related to budget and economic survey. We are also covering state current affairs so that you can enhance your state performance, and also we are covering every state and union territory. So guys, there is no different subscription for every topic. There is just single subscription. You have to just download this application Careers Cloud from the description box link, and you can also log in with your email ID, and after login you have to click on this crack current affair section, and you can subscribe for 1 year as well as for 2 years. Prices of both the subscription very much low. If you see the price, you will definitely surprise, and on that minimal price we are providing 10% extra discount. If you use this code ASH10, then you will get 10% extra discount. If you have any query, then you can reach us on this email ID like support@affairscloud.com, or you can call on this number. You can also comment me in any video. I am personally commenting or answering all the queries in the comment box, so you can also comment. And guys, let's start today's current affair, that is 19th of May 2021. But I am again requesting you all the students that you have to like this video, you have to provide us 700 plus likes, you have to subscribe this channel if you're new on this platform, and you have to share this video as maximum as possible. So let's begin today's session with the most important question section, and here is our first question. Who became the first Indian woman to summit Mount Pumori? So the first most important thing here is the summit Mount Pumori. This is situated in which country? This is situated in Nepal. So guys, remember, Mount Pumori is situated in Nepal. And who became the first Indian woman to summit this Mount Pumori, which is situated in Nepal? So answer of this question is both A and B. It means I am talking about Baljeet Kaur and Gunbala Sharma. So remember, Baljeet Kaur and Gunbala Sharma was part of basically a 12-member team that attempted to conquer all the 4 peaks that are part part of Everest Massif. So guys, you have to remember this is the expedition known as the Everest Massif. Everest Massif consists of 4 mountains, which are very important mountains. You can also see this. Baljeet Kaur and Gunbala Sharma are the first Indian women to scale one of the toughest peak in the Everest Massif in Nepal. And remember this Everest Massif. This is a combination of 4 peaks. One is Mount Pimori. You have to write down here. I am writing here. Like one is the Mount Pimori. You can see here. And second is Mount Niputse. Third is Mount Lhotse. And fourth one is Mount Everest. So this Mount Massif or Everest Massif is a combination of these 4 mountains. And the Everest Massif expedition was flagged off by our Union Minister of Youth Affairs and Sports, Kiran Rijiju and Delhi on the 27th of March. And firstly, they conquered this Mount Pimori. After that, they will go to the Mount Niputse. Third, they will go to Mount Lhotse, and after that they will go to the Mount Everest. And the mountaineers Baljeet Kaur belongs to which state? Baljeet Kaur belongs to Himachal Pradesh. You can see here Baljeet Kaur belongs to Himachal Pradesh. And guys, you can also remember the Gunbala Sharma belongs to which state? Gunbala Sharma belongs to Rajasthan. So these two you have to remember, especially the students of Himachal Pradesh and Rajasthan. The examiner can ask the specific person from Himachal Pradesh and the Rajasthan. And both are the part of the 12-member team that attempted to conquer all the 4 peaks that are a part of Everest Massif. That's why it is a mission known as Everest Massif Expedition, which was launched by Kiran Rijiju on 27th of March. So the aim of this expedition to make the first Indian ascent of the challenging Mount Niputse, Mount Pimori and Mount Lhotse. And you can just see one glimpse of this Mount Pimori. This is 7145 meter height peak, and this is very important, guys. And recently you have to remember this name. This is very important, Priyanka Mohite, because Priyanka Mohite from Maharashtra became the first Indian woman to scale Mount Annapurna. Remember, Mount Annapurna. And this is the 10th highest mountain peak in the world. 10th highest mountain peak in the world. And this Mount Annapurna is also situated in which country? It is situated in Nepal. So guys, you have to remember all this information about Mount Annapurna. What is this Everest Massif? It is a combination of 4 mountains. What are these 4 mountains? Mount Niputse, Mount Pimori, Mount Lhotse and Mount Everest. And Everest Massif expedition started on the in the month of March 2021, and it is flagged off by our Union Minister Kiran Rijiju. And all these peaks are situated in Nepal, because Nepal has the highest mountain in the world, Mount Everest, as well as 1310 peaks over 6000 meter height. Guys, this is huge, like 1300 peaks over 6000 meter height. And President of Nepal is Vidya Devi Bhandari, capital is Kathmandu, and Prime Minister is KP Sharma Oli, which was recently reappointed and given the 30 days to prove the majority, and currency is Nepalese rupees. Now we can move to the next question. Who has appointed as the government nominee director of the board of directors of the Bank of India? So guys, the most important thing here is the Bank of India, and this person is appointed by the government nominee director, because there are total 8 members in the boards of the Bank of India. You can see here, one is the MD and CEO, one is the basically 4 are the executive directors, one nominee director from the government, which we are talking about, and one nominee director from the RB, and one from the shareholder directors. It means 3 from this, 4 from the executive directors, and 1 is the MD and CEO. We will talk about the MD and CEO. And you have to remember one nominee director from the government who was recently appointed, that was Vandita Kaul. So answer of this question is D. Very simple answer. You have to just remember the question as in the slide. So now we are talking about the Bank of India. Who is currently the MD and CEO of Bank of India? That is Atanu Kumar Das, or Atanu Kumar Das. You can remember as any pronunciation. Atanu Kumar Das. And guys, remember this bank was established in 1906 and its headquarters is in Mumbai, Maharashtra, and its tagline is relationship beyond banking. I am writing here relationship beyond banking. So this is the tagline of this bank. And guys, you can also remember other options, because these are the most important appointments of especially the March and April month of 2021. Like you can see here, first is the Sushil Chandra. So no words for this appointment, because every student know that he was recently appointed as the Chief Election Commissioner of India. Chief Election Commissioner of India. So you have to remember. Next is S. Ramanan. This is again very important appointment because he was recently appointed as Chairman and Managing Director of SIDBI. SIDBI's headquarters is in Lucknow. So guys, you have to remember. Chintan Vaishnav, most important appointment, and this question will come 100% that Dr. Chintan Vaishnav recently appointed as Mission Director of Atal Innovation Mission. Atal Innovation Mission. So guys, don't confuse any appointment. I am revising daily on the daily basis. We are covering every option so that you can revise all the appointments. So guys, you have to focus on the options also. Now we can move to the next question because we covered Bank of India and we covered the name of the nominee director from the government. Now third question is, who became the first Indian origin fighter to win mixed martial artist world champion? So first of all, this mixed martial artist world championship was hosted by which country? It is hosted by Singapore. So remember, it is hosted by Singapore. And second thing, who won this? Because he is the first Indian origin fighter. Answer of this question is very simple. Arjun Singh Bhullar or Arjun Singh Bhullar. So remember, Indo-Canadian. He is basically Indian descent, but he is Indian, or you can say Canadian, Indo-Canadian. Mixed martial art Arjun Singh Bhullar defeated Brandon Vera to become the heavyweight world champion at the Singapore-based One Championship and became the first Indian origin fighter to win this mixed martial artist world championship. And guys, remember, it is a former freestyle wrestler, and Bhullar had also won the 2010 Commonwealth Games gold medal in the New Delhi representing Canada, but he was representing Canada because he is a Indo-Canadian mixed martial art artist. So you have to just remember the name. But other options, again, you can see here, this is very important. You can see here Victor Axelsen. Victor Axelsen from the Denmark won Yonex Thailand Open Badminton Tournament of 2021. Remember guys, this is related to badminton. Victor Axelsen belongs to Denmark and he won this men's single category Yonex Thailand Open Badminton Tournament 2021 and he won the gold medal under this. And next is Varun Kapoor, and guys, this is again important because you have to remember that this player again belongs to badminton category and he won Uganda International Badminton Tournament. Uganda International Badminton Tournament of 2021. So Thailand won by the Victor Axelsen from the Denmark. Varun Kapoor from India in the men's category won the Uganda International Badminton Tournament. And guys, again in the women category it was Malvika Bansod, same tournament like Uganda International Badminton Tournament of 2021. Now we can move to the next question, and all the most important questions are covered. We covered 3 questions, but now we are moving to the very important questions, and you have to provide us 700 plus likes. You have to subscribe this channel if you're new on this platform, and you have to share this video as maximum as possible. And guys, there is one good news for you. Good news is that we launched a Telegram channel, and you have to join this Telegram channel from the description box link. We put a Telegram channel joining link in the description box, so you can join from that link. So guys, you can now join the Telegram. All the important informations will be given through Telegram channel platform. Now we are moving to the very important section, and here is the first question. Vaidya Aapke Dwar scheme launched in which state? First of all, you have to understand what is this Vaidya Aapke Dwar. So then you can recognize that this scheme or this application is related to what. So Vaidya stands for, I am talking about Ayurveda, or you can say Ministry of Ayush. Ayush stands for Ayurveda, Yoga, Neuropathy, Unani, Siddha, Soa Rigpa and homeopathy. So you have to remember what is Ministry of Ayush, and this Ministry of Ayush, or you can say the Department of Ayush, launched this Vaidya Aapke Dwar scheme in Madhya Pradesh. So answer of this question is A. So through this scheme, the free medical consultation is given at home through live video call by Ayush medical specialist. It means they will do this homeopathy treatment, they will do the Ayurveda, Yoga, Neuropathy, Unani, Siddha, or the Soa Rigpa. Soa Rigpa stands for the Tibetan traditional medicine style. That will be used and all the Madhya Pradesh citizens can now consult on the online platform which will be provided by the Ayush medical specialist. And the scheme was virtually launched by the Madhya Pradesh State Minister of Ayush, Shri Ram Kishore, but you don't have to remember this. The scheme is made available through the telemedicine application which is known as Ayush Cure. Ayush Cure. So this is the telemedicine application. You have to just remember the name of the application. And you can see here, Ayush launched Vaidya Aapke Dwar scheme in Madhya Pradesh. So you can see here, through this scheme, free medical consultation is given at home through live video. So there is no need to meet physically. So you have to just place a video call by the Ayush medical specialist. And this scheme is made available through the telemedicine application, which is known as Ayush Cure, so that it is accessible to a common people even at home. And Ayush Cure is an application based on Android. It can be downloaded from the Google Play Store, and appointments can be made by choosing a doctor and time according to the medical system of Ayurveda, homeopathy, or the Unani. And guys, you have to remember the Ayush Ministry. Who is currently the Union Minister of Ayush? Shripad Yesso Naik. So you have to remember Shripad Yesso Naik, and his constituency is North Goa. North Goa. Remember this. And guys, recent related news you have to remember, because this was also launched recently. This Ayush department also launched Ayush Gardwar. Ayush Gardwar for wellness program for COVID-19 in Himachal Pradesh. It is a similar kind of the scheme which is launched in the Madhya Pradesh, but there is a slightly difference between these schemes. Like this is again launched by the Department of Ayush. Name is Ayush Gardwar, like Vaidya Gardwar or Aapke Dwar. This is launched by the Madhya Pradesh. It is a statewide wellness program for COVID-19 patients only in the Himachal Pradesh. And who is currently Union Minister of Health and Family Welfare, that is Harshvardhan ji, also launched this program in you can say the Solan district of Himachal Pradesh. Just they choose one district, but it will be covered all pan Himachal Pradesh. The Ayush Gardwar was launched by Ayush Vibhag Himachal Pradesh in collaboration with the Art of Living organization, and the program aims to reduce the burden of a pandemic by enhancing recovery rate, improved quality of life, equitable healthcare facility, and ensuring rehabilitation post COVID-19 infection. So you have to just remember the two things. One is Ayush Gardwar scheme is launched by the Himachal Pradesh, and second, Vaidya Aapke Dwar is launched by the Madhya Pradesh, and both are launched by the Department of Ayush. And we covered who is currently the Union Minister of Ayush. So guys, these things you have to remember. And always remember about Madhya Pradesh, because we are talking about here Madhya Pradesh. Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister is Shivraj Chauhan, and Governor is Anandiben Patel. She has the additional charge because recently Lalji Tandon ji was passed, so that's why she has additional charge. But she is also the Governor of Uttar Pradesh. So there are very important national parks in Madhya Pradesh. One is Bandhavgarh National Park. Bandhavgarh National Park, because all over India, maximum area of forest lies in the Madhya Pradesh. Remember, area wise, maximum forest area lies in Madhya Pradesh. Bandhavgarh National Park is there. Kanha Tiger Reserve is there, very famous. Kuno National Park, very famous. Kuno National Park. Madhav National Park. Shivpuri National Park, this is again very famous. Panna National Park. Panna is also one of the Biosphere Reserve of India. Pench National Park. Satpura Tiger Reserve, so many in Madhya Pradesh. Satpura Tiger Reserve, and one is Van Bihar National Park. Van Bihar. So these are very important national parks in Madhya Pradesh. So guys, you can also remember about the Himachal Pradesh. I am just writing here, like in the Himachal Pradesh area. Who is currently the Chief Minister of Himachal Pradesh? Himachal Pradesh Chief Minister is Jairam Thakur. Jairam Thakur. But you have also you have to remember about the governor of the Himachal Pradesh, and Himachal Pradesh governor is Bandaru Dattatreya. Bandaru Dattatreya. And most importantly, national parks in Himachal Pradesh. 4 national parks you have to remember. One is Great Himalayan National Park. Next is Indarkila National Park. Indarkila National Park. Kheer Ganga National Park. Kheer Ganga is also in Himachal Pradesh. Pin Valley National Park. Pin Valley National Park. So these are the extra information which you have to require to clear the exam. Now we can move to the next question. What is the name of the application which was launched by Tripura government so that people get to know about various center government and the state government schemes? So the main motive of this application to aware the people so that they can enroll in the center government or the state government scheme if they are eligible, and they can even create awareness about the schemes of the government. So that's why its name is Jagrut Tripura. Jagrut means we are aware about this. So that's why Jagrut Tripura. So guys, remember, and the Jagrut Tripura will empower the citizens of Tripura and even the by using this application, the citizen of Tripura can check the eligibility for a particular scheme, and also a message will be sent regarding eligibility after necessity registration. So you can see here, new application name is Jagrut Tripura. So you have to just remember the first word Jagrut in Tripura to help people to avail both central and state government schemes. And currently there are 102 schemes which are started by both the governments, like the state and center government, so that it will definitely help the state government citizens. And the project was developed by the Easy Government, which is a Geo Group company, and it will be available to all residents of Tripura, not for the selected. The Jagrut Tripura will empower citizens of Tripura, and eligibility for a particular scheme can be checked. At least 102 schemes of the various departments of both governments are available on the platform. It means it will definitely you can say provide the social security to the citizens of Tripura. And there are also plans to make this platform in the direct beneficiary transfer mode, so that the benefit can be transferred to the directly to the beneficiary account. And the digital platform is one of the many proactive initiatives undertaken by the state government, or you can say to make Tripura as a Atmanirbhar Tripura, or the self-reliant Tripura. And guys, remember about Tripura, Chief Minister is Biplab Kumar Dev. Biplab Kumar Dev, capital is Agartala, and governor is Ramesh Bais. Remember, Ramesh Bais. He is currently the governor of Tripura. And guys, you can also remember two very important national parks in Tripura. One is Clouded Leopard National Park, most important, Clouded Leopard National Park. Second is Rajbari National Park, Rajbari National Park. So, or Rajbari National Park, you can remember any word. So now we can move to next question. Ministry of Tribal Affairs signed an MOU with which company for digital transformation of the tribal school? So this is very important because it will enhance the education of the tribal people. And name of this company is, guys, Microsoft. So Microsoft is doing so many things in India, especially at free of cost. And Microsoft doing this virtual event like empowering youth for success for digital transformation of tribal school, such as you can say Eklavya model residential schools, ashram schools, and other schools which comes under the Ministry of Tribal Affairs. Now you can see here Ministry of Tribal Affairs, and you can see who is the Union Minister of Tribal Affairs. He is currently Arjun Munda. And Microsoft signed MOU to joint initiative for the digital transformation of tribal schools. And you can also see here Microsoft will make the artificial intelligence curriculum available to tribal students in English as well as in Hindi at all the Eklavya model residential schools. So this is the agreement between the Microsoft and the you can say the Ministry of Tribal Affairs, and this is definitely will ensure inclusion and accessibility. And during the first phase of the program, almost 250 Eklavya model residential schools will be adopted by the Microsoft for this purpose. It means the scheme will be implemented in 250 schools which are known as the Eklavya model residential schools. And the main aim of the agreement is to build an inclusive skill-based economy. So students from schools under the tribal ministry, which are excluded under the you can say Eklavya model residential schools, will be mentored on projects which involve artificial intelligence application for societal good. It means they will not only train the Eklavya model residential school students, they will also train all the students which are under the schools which are covered by the Ministry of Tribal Affairs. And under this partnership, students from every school which comes under the Ministry of Tribal Affairs or the Ministry of Tribal will be mentored on the project of artificial intelligence application for societal good, you can say, or you can say the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And this initiative will also enable professional development of teachers, students, to enable them to use technology in the classroom. So this is the project of the Microsoft. So guys, remember about the Ministry of Tribal Affairs, because Union Minister is Arjun Munda, Lok Sabha constituency is Khunti. Khunti is in Jharkhand. Remember, Khunti is in Jharkhand. And Minister of State is Renuka Singh Saruta. And you know about Microsoft. Microsoft CEO is Satya Nadella, and its headquarters is in Washington, United States of America. But you have to remember the recent related news that Microsoft has partners with AICT to empower students and the educators. And this will definitely enhance the next generation technology such as the artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, data science, and the cloud computing. And they will teach the students and the educator through this type of the technology like artificial intelligence. Now we can move to the next question, and we covered all the most important points here. Next question is, which company is constructing the largest international submarine cable system? So this is most important point here, or the keyword here, submarine cable system with India as the center. It means they will develop this submarine cable system, but they will start all this project from the India because India will be the center. And this company is Reliance Jio Infocom. So answer of this question is C. You can see here, Reliance Jio building largest international submarine cable system, and it will be centered in India. And you can see here the submarine cable system will consist of two subsea cable system. One which will connect India and Asia. It means you can say India Asia Express connecting India to the Singapore, and second is the India to Europe Express. It means connecting to the India to the Middle East and the Europe. So now you can see this is India, and it will connect to this area, it will connect to this area. So it will cover both this area like Asia, Southeast Asia, or you can say Middle East and the Europe. And subsea cable system are being constructed to support the growing data consumption needs in India and to provide the best to best technology and best to best speed of the internet to the citizens of India. And friends, you can also remember that Reliance Jio will not do this thing alone. Reliance Jio will partner with one company that is known as Subcom or Subcommunication, and world-class submarine cable supplier and other global firms for constructing the cables. So this is the partnership of the Reliance Jio Infocom. Or guys, you have to remember that this Reliance Industries is a basically owner of this Reliance Jio Infocom, and its headquarters is in Mumbai, Maharashtra, and chairman and MD is one and only Mukesh Ambani. And guys, you can also remember recent related news that we covered this question in the January 2021, that as per the global 500 2021 list, Global Jio has been ranked 5th position as the world's strongest brand, and it is the first time that Reliance Jio has entered this ranking. So guys, this is all of this question. Now we can move to next question. So it is very simple question, and you have to just remember this question as in the slide. Same. Indian airline Go Air rebranded with which name? So now Go Air name will be changed. It is a low cost airline and its name will be Go First. So answer of this question is C. So I am requesting you all the students that you have to just remember this news as in the slide, just same as question in the slide. So Wadia Group owned Indian airline Go Air was rebranded itself as Go First after completing its 15 year of service as the Go Air. So Go First, like ultra low cost carrier, would operate single aircraft type across its fleet, which currently has both Airbus A320 and A320 new engine option planes in the operation, and it will be the third operational scheduled carrier after SpiceJet and Indigo once the share get listed. So guys, remember this, just the name of Go Air will be now Go First. Now we can move to the next question. What is the name of the former national president of Indian Medical Association and Padam Shri awardee who passed away recently? So guys, you can also mark this question in the most important question. Why I am saying that? Because every newspaper, every news media covered this point. So that's why this question is the most important question, but we are covering under the very important, because this is one of the type of the obituary, and we are covering almost every type of the obituary in the very important section. So guys, what is the name of former national president of Indian Medical Association and Padam Shri awardee who passed away recently? And answer of this question is KK Agarwal. It means I am talking about Krishan Kumar Agarwal. You have to remember the first initials, Krishan Kumar or KK Agarwal, and he was very famous cardiologist, very famous. So Padam Shri awardee Dr. KK Agarwal passed away, and you can see the picture. I think you have already seen this picture, and he was a renowned cardiologist and has been working as the head of the Heart Care Foundation of India. So name is KK Agarwal. I am repeating again and again so that you can remember this news for longer time period. And he belongs to New Delhi, and because he was born in New Delhi, and he was awarded the Dr. BC Roy Award, which is the highest Indian award in the medical category, and this award was given to this person in 2005, and he introduced the technique of colored Doppler echocardiography in India. So you can also remember that he introduced this colored Doppler echocardiography in India. And guys, he also received the Padam Shri Award. Padam Shri Award in 2010, which was awarded by the government of India, and this is the 4th highest civilian award for his contribution to the field of medicine. So you have to remember the name is Dr. KK Agarwal. Now we can move to the next question, but you have to remember the other options also. You are seeing here Vishnu Narayan Namudri. Vishnu Narayan Namudri was recently passed, and he was very famous Malayalam poet. Malayalam poet. So you can remember. And next is Akhtar Ali. Again, very important obituary because he was recently passed and he was India's very famous tennis player. It means he was associated with which field? He was tennis player. Next is Anshuman. We covered this question. Anshuman Singh, like he was very famous politician because he was the former governor of two states. One is the Rajasthan, second is Gujarat. He was the former governor of Rajasthan and Gujarat. So remember all these, but we are recalling day by day so that you can recall these news at the time of your exam. Now we can move to the next question. What is the theme of the anti-COVID-19? What is the name of the anti-COVID-19 drug which was developed by the DRDO? So very simple question, and it is developed by the DRDO, Defense Research Development Organization. Its headquarters is in New Delhi, guys. Don't confuse it with ISRO. I'm every time talking about this, that DRDO and ISRO, you can confuse both. So DRDO headquarters is in New Delhi, head is G Satish Reddy. And guys, the name of the drug is 2DG. 2DG. What is the meaning of this 2DG? I will tell you. But Rajnath Singh released first batch of anti-COVID-19 drug 2DG developed by the DRDO. You have to remember the name of the drug. And 2DG stands for 2-deoxy-D-glucose. 2-deoxy-D-glucose. It is the first indigenous therapeutic drug developed by the India to fight COVID-19. And remember, it is a oral drug, and the clinical trials of the drug showed that it fastens the recovery percent and reduces oxygen dependency by around 40%. By around 40%. So this is a huge success, and you can say it is developed by the DRDO. So this is a new kind of the thing, and it is developed by the one of the lab of DRDO, that is known as Institute of Nuclear Medicine and Allied Sciences, which is also known as INMAS, which is situated in the Hyderabad, Telangana. And you have to remember that DGCI had approved in May 2021 an emergency use of this 2-deoxy-D-glucose drug and adjunct therapy in moderate to severe COVID-19 patient. This was recently declared by the Drugs Controller General of India. And guys, remember, Institute of Nuclear Medicine and Allied Sciences headquarters is in, it means the main headquarter of this organization is in New Delhi, but its regional office is also situated in Hyderabad, which is in collaboration with the Dr. Reddy's laboratory, which is situated in the Hyderabad, Telangana. So you have to remember this. Now we can move to the next question, but you have to remember under this question, name of the drug, about DRDO, and what is the exact meaning of this 2DG, that is 2-deoxy-D-glucose. Now we can move to next question. Which general insurance company has launched integrated partner onboarding solution? It means this is only for the insurance company partners, not for the customers. An industry first digital end-to-end partner onboarding solution. It means any type of the agent, any type of the partner can onboard this general insurance company digitally. And this insurance company is Edelweiss General Insurance. So guys, remember, answer of this question is D. And you can see here, Edelweiss Ideas Create Value Protect. This is the theme, and launched integrated partner onboarding solution, which is known as IPOS. So IPOS is an onboarding solution for all its existing and prospective partners, which includes agent, brokers, and web aggregators. So the main objective is to digitalize a partner journey efficiency. So this unified, fully automated portal is dedicated to all partner related onboarding requirements, and it has multiple features like easy visualization capabilities and built-in learning system where partners can take up practice test. And the solution with easy to use interface will enable the sales workforce to create or upload any number of the prospects in the real time, along with the ability to monitor, approve, and digitally process that that provide greater efficiency. So guys, remember, this is Edelweiss General Insurance Company. And you have to remember one most important thing about Edelweiss General Insurance Company, which we covered in March 2021. This news is recent later news, and India's first cloud native insurers, that is Edelweiss General Insurance, in partnership with the Intermiles, launched Edelweiss Group Domestic Travel Insurance. This is for the domestic purposes, like you are cancelling your flight, you are cancelling your something which is very important, but you are connected with the Intermiles, and this general insurance company will provide all the renunciation. So remember about Edelweiss General Insurance Company. Its headquarters is in Mumbai, Maharashtra, and executive director and CEO is Shehnai Ghosh. Sahanai Ghosh. So you can remember. So this insurance company is not so much important, but you have to remember this news, and you can just remember the question as in slide. So just remember. Now we can move to next question. PayPoint tie up with which company for health insurance to rural areas? Now again we are talking about one insurance company, and now there are two companies integration. One is the PayPoint and the second is the insurance company which is known as Digit General Insurance Company. So Digit General Insurance Company, you can see here PayPoint ties up with the Digit General Insurance Company to provide health insurance in the rural area, so that maximum to maximum benefit of the health insurance can be provided to the rural areas. And this time this is a new initiative of a new general insurance company that is known as Digit General Insurance. And Digit General Insurance will be selling this policy online, while PayPoint will be offering offline access and assistance to its client. It means some policies will be sell through online medium, and it will be the duty of Digit General Insurance Company, and offline medium it is a duty of the PayPoint. And the policyholder could avail all the payment under the cashless claim by displaying the e-health card at the network hospitals. And this partnership is being flagged off with the launch of coronavirus hospitalization insurance policy. So the name of insurance policy is coronavirus hospitalization insurance policy that cover treatment up to rupees 2 lakh and at a premium of rupees just 7,990 rupees. So you have to remember it covers 2 lakh rupees and just a premium of 799 rupees, and it is known as coronavirus hospitalization insurance policy. And it will also cover the post 24-hour ICU hospitalization. The COVID-19 hospitalization insurance policy offers a minimum 1 lakh at a premium rate starting as low as 487. It means if you are taking 1 lakh rupees insurance, coronavirus insurance policy, then its premium is just 487 rupees. And the policy offer options of choosing a sum of 1 lakh or the 2 lakh for individuals up to age of 65 years. So you don't have to remember this data. It is just for information for you. And according to one of the data of the Digit General Insurance, which is saying that 80% of people in the urban area and 85% people in the rural area don't have any health insurance. So this is a big thing which India have to take care, because these are the need of an hour. So this is very important for the current scenario, and health insurance is very you can say need for India. Now we can move to next question. Which state launched the HIT? HIT stands for Home Isolation Tracking COVID app to monitor and track the COVID-19 patients which are basically home isolated. So this state government who launched this, you can say the application is known as Bihar. So answer of this question is C, Bihar. And the application which is known as HIT COVID. HIT stands for, I already covered, Home Isolation Tracking, and it is launched by the government of Bihar, and Bihar government launched this application. It is to ensure regular monitoring tracking of home isolated patients. And you can see here the app was used on a pilot basis in 5 districts of Bihar, just like one is the Supaul, Aurangabad, Bhagalpur, Gopalganj and Nalanda. And this app will support the healthcare workers to monitor the patients in home isolation only. It is only for the home isolations, and this app will support the healthcare workers to monitor the patients in home isolation. So this is a good initiative which is launched by the Bihar government, or you can say the Nitish Kumar, who launched this type of the scheme especially for the home isolation. And the app was used on a pilot basis only in the 5 districts of the Bihar. It is just to provide better facilities and monitoring at the home isolated patients across Bihar. And the app will support the healthcare workers to monitor the patients in the home isolation, and the patient with the oxygen levels below 94 will be shifted to the dedicated COVID-19 health care center, and it is by the doctors who are visiting the house of the patient. And the data on the patient temperature and the oxygen level will be fed into the application on the daily basis by the health workers who visit the patient, or the doctor who visit the patient. So now we can move to the next question, but you have to remember about the Bihar Chief Minister is Nitish Kumar. Remember, Nitish Kumar. And the governor is Fagu Chauhan, and very important national park is here, Valmiki National Park. Remember, Valmiki National Park. There is one wildlife sanctuary, that is Kaimur Wildlife Sanctuary. You can also remember this. Pant Wildlife Sanctuary is also there. Gautam Buddha Wildlife Sanctuary is there. Bhimband Wildlife Sanctuary is there. But you have to remember Valmiki National Park. That is the one national park in Bihar. So you have to remember about this thing. So it is for the home isolation. Now we can move to the next question, but it is from the picture. Like one startup company that is known as Jupitice private launched a you can say platform which is known as private digital court. So it is the first time that private digital court was launched, and it is based on the artificial intelligence technology, and it is launched by one of the startup, which is a Chandigarh based startup that is known as Jupitize. So you can see here, Jupitize Justice Technologies and Chandigarh based startup has developed world first private digital court, which is powered by blockchain and the artificial intelligence to resolve disputes under the private justice system through alternative dispute resolution mechanism. So this is the important thing, this alternative dispute resolution mechanism, the process by which disputes between the parties are settled or brought to an amicable result without the intervention of the judicial institution and without any trial is known as the alternative dispute resolution. Now it can be done through this private digital court, which is powered by blockchain and artificial intelligence, and the platform is designed for private justice system like you can say the arbitration, conciliation, mediation or the negotiation. And the government of India passed the arbitration or the conciliation bill of 2019 to establish an independent body called Arbitration Council of India for this, so that no judicial or you can say that without the judicial intervention we can solve the dispute between the two parties, and it can be used to settle issues on any type of matters like civil, commercial, industrial or the family dispute, and it comes under the Legal Services Authority Act of 1987, or you can say the Conciliation Act, which was enacted in 1996. It comes under this act, and this company is basically based on the Chandigarh, and it is a startup company, and CEO and founder is Raman Agarwal, but it is not so much important. You have to just remember that there is the world's first private digital court, which is used for the dispute resolution, is now set up. Now we are moving to the next section. It is our important question section, guys. You have to provide us 700 plus likes. You have to subscribe this channel if you are new on this platform, and you have to share this video as maximum as possible. Who proposed framework for regulated gold exchange in India? Electronic gold receipt. So from 2 or 3 days, you can say the last 2 or 3 days, we are covering this gold exchange because there are two type of the demands in India, especially related to the gold. One is the for the trading purposes or for the home purposes. So we are basically eliminating this you can say the trading purposes demand, and we are now establishing the gold exchange in India, so that we can trade the gold at online platform through your demat accounts under which you can buy or sell your shares. So this is gold exchange in India, and recently in the financial year budget of 2022, Nirmala Sitharaman already announced that SEBI will be the regulator of gold exchange in India. So this is very important. You have to remember this is this framework is also launched by Securities and Exchange Board of India. And you can see here, SEBI unveils roadmap for the bullion trading. And guys, always remember about the bullion trading because it is important, and examiner can ask about what is bullion exchange. What is bullion exchange? So this bullion market is basically a place where exchange of gold and silver take place. It transacts gold and silver at market spot prices, like London bullion market is the primary bullion market for the global trading. And you can see here, for regulating the gold exchange related business of the vault manager, SEBI issues some guidelines, and the gold exchange instrument are termed as electronic gold receipts because it is traded electronically, and the entire transaction in gold exchange is divided into the 3 tranches. It means 3 installments. First tranche will be the conversion from the physical gold. If you have any type of the physical gold, then you can convert this physical gold into the electronic gold receipt or EGR. After after the conversion, you can say you can trade this EGR in the stock exchange, any type of the stock exchange. After trading, if you earn something, then you can convert this electronic gold receipt into into the physical gold. So if you have any physical gold, then you can trade. You have to convert this into the electronic gold. After that, you can trade in the stock exchanges. After that, you can convert again from the electronic gold to the physical gold. So this is a 3 type of the system which is recently announced by the Securities and Exchange Board of India. And this electronic gold receipt of 1 kg, 100 gram and 50 grams denomination may be available with the stock exchanges. So you can just convert from this denomination to the electronic. And this EGR of 1 kilogram, 100 grams and 50 grams denomination should be available for trading of EGR, and conversion of EGR into the physical gold and smaller denomination such as 10 grams, 5 grams may also be allowed for the trading, but it is not clear that how much quantity or the quality you can share. And conversion of this, you can say the smaller denomination of EGR into the physical gold will be permitted only when the beneficial owner has at least 50 grams of gold, physical gold, in the form of the EGR. So you don't have to remember this so much information. You have to remember what is this gold exchange and what is the system of this gold exchange. And remember about SEBI. SEBI's headquarters is in Mumbai, Maharashtra. It was established in 1988, but it became the act in 1992. So it became the statutory body in 1992, and its chairman is Ajay Tyagi. Now we can move to the next, who is appointed as MD and CEO of Star Union Dai-ichi Life Insurance Company, which is also known as SUD Life. This question is not so much important because this company is not much in news, and not even so many students know about this company. So you have to just remember the name, or you can just remember the question as in slide. Answer of this question is Abhay Tiwari. So answer of this question is D, Abhay Tiwari. So you can see here the picture of Dai-ichi Life Insurance Company appoints Abhay Tiwari as the MD and CEO of this life insurance company. And guys, its headquarters is in Mumbai, Maharashtra, and it is basically a joint venture between the Bank of India, Union Bank of India, and Dai-ichi Life Insurance Company of Japan. It means two banks and one company, life insurance company of Japan, started this SUD or the SUD Life, and its headquarters is in Mumbai, Maharashtra. Don't remember anything else. Just remember MD and CEO is Abhay Tiwari. So now we can move to the next section. It is our one-liner important point, and first here is the Indian Navy hosted Goa Maritime Symposium or GMS 21. And it held virtually for 2 days from 11th and 12th of May 2021, and it was for the first time that GMS 21 held virtually. Every year it is hosted by Indian Navy, so it is not so much important. And theme of this GMS 21 was focused on the maritime security and emerging non-traditional threats, a case for the proactive role of the Indian Ocean region navies. And 13 Indian Ocean littoral countries participated in this, like Myanmar, Seychelles, Singapore, Sri Lanka, Thailand. So these countries participated. Next is more than 70% of the snow leopard habitat under researched, and it is WWF report. So guys, remember, it is one of the report of pioneer organization which is known as Worldwide Fund for Nature. Its headquarters is in Gland, Switzerland. And according to this institution, it stated that 4 hotspots of snow leopard research have emerged since 1970, and the proportion of area within each country covered by research was highest in Nepal. Because Nepal covers almost 74% of the area related to the snow leopard, and it was followed by India, almost 40%, Uzbekistan, and China, and the Russia. And the report is based on the analysis of the peer-reviewed published papers on the snow leopard and its habitat. And guys, according to this organization, 70% of the habitat of the snow leopard over 12 Asian countries remain under-searched. Only 23% of the snow leopard have been explored. So this is a big news because we can explore more that area. Next is Europe Jupiter spacecraft JUICE enters testing phase. So we covered this question, that's why we are covering under the one-liner. What is the meaning of this JUICE? JUICE stands for the Jupiter Icy Moon Explorer. Jupiter Icy Moon Explorer. And it is basically an interplanetary spacecraft which is developed by the European Space Agency, has entered into a crucial testing phase, and it is being tested at European Space Agency, European Space Research and Technology Center in the Netherlands. And the Jupiter bound spacecraft has been assembled by the German company, and it is set to be launched in 2022, and it is expected to reach Jupiter in 2029. So it will take almost 7 years, and the mission will study 3 of the Jupiter's Galilean moons, like one is the Europa. So the examiner can ask that Europa is a moon or satellite of which planet. So you have to remember Europa is a moon of Jupiter, and this JUICE mission will study 3 of the Jupiter moons. One is Europa, second is you can say Callisto. I am writing here Calisto, and third is Ganymede, and it will investigate the condition necessary for you can say habitability. So this is JUICE mission of the European Space Agency, and European Space Agency headquarters is in France. in France, and total member of states of this are 22. Next, Supreme Court launches app for the journalist to assess virtual hearing. So it is not so much important. So just you have to remember, this is a app which is launched by Supreme Court, and it is due to COVID-19. The Supreme Court came up with a mobile application to enable journalists to report virtual proceeding without having to visit court premises. So that maximum to maximum exposure cannot be or you can say can be avoided. So India retained top spot in ICC test team ranking under annual update. So you have to remember, recently ICC released a ranking about the ODI and T20, but now they released the test ranking also. So India retained the first spot in the test ranking, but in the ODI, you can say India is on the third position. In the ODI, India is on the third position because first is New Zealand, second is Australia. And in the T20, you have to remember, India is on the second position. In the T20, India is on the second because first is on the England. So remember this. Now, World AIDS Vaccine Day 2021 is you can say celebrated or observed across globe on the 18th of May. So you have to remember this day that is observed on 18th of May, and this is known as not the World AIDS Day, it is known as the World AIDS Vaccine Day. And it is just to create awareness about the requirement of HIV vaccines to prevent HIV infection and AIDS. And there is one organization which is known as National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases. Its headquarters is in United States. So guys, just remember, it is celebrated on the 18th of May. And you can also remember that when is World AIDS Day celebrated? It is celebrated on the 1st of December. 1st of December every year, and the 2020 theme was Global Solidarity, Shared Responsibility. Now we can move to the question of the day. What was the question of 18th of May 2021? Question was, who was the chairman of the first Bank Board Bureau? First of all, you have to remember this body, that is Banks Board Bureau. This body was created in 2016, and it is an autonomous body of Government of India tasked to search and select you can say persons for board of public sector banks, public sector financial institution and public sector insurance companies, and recommend measures to improve the corporate governance in these institutions. So the center government notified the amendment of this nationalized bank scheme in 1980, providing the legal framework for composition and functions of the Bank Board Bureau in 2016, and the bureau accordingly stated functioning from 1st April 2016. That's why it was founded in 1st April 2016 as an autonomous recommendatory body. It is just a recommendatory body, and this Bank Board Bureau works in a step towards governance republic reforms, which was done in the public sector banks as recommended by the PJ Naik Committee. And who is currently chairman? Currently chairman is Banu Pratap Sharma, and its headquarters is in Mumbai, Maharashtra. And guys, remember, the first chairman of this organization was Vinod Rai. So you have to remember this answer. Now we can move to the next question. What is the question of the day, guys? Question is, what is the time period of a term loan to be classified as non-performing asset? So this is very simple question, but this is the most important question. You have to answer me only in the comment box. So I am just waiting your answer, and you have to provide us 700 plus likes. So while giving an answer or while you are watching the video, you have to provide us 700 plus likes. You have to subscribe this channel if you're new on this platform, and I am again telling you guys, this is a good news for you that we made a Telegram group, and you have to join this Telegram group from the description box link. We give a description box link of Telegram joining channel. And guys, please provide us 700 plus likes, and please share this video as maximum as possible, and press this bell button so that you can receive the notification on time. And it is Affairs Cloud promise that it will boost your confidence in the general awareness section, definitely. And guys, thank you for watching this video, and don't take life so much serious. Life is fun. Always be happy. Take care. Bye bye.